Hello and welcome back from the break. Hi, I'm Swapnil. I'm a customer engineer for Google Workspace and I lead technical pre-sales conversation with organizations who are looking to transform their workforce with the power of Gemini and Google Workspace. Thank you all for joining. So today we are going to say goodbye to email workload. This awesome new lab, Automate with Google Workspace Studio, shows you how AI-generated variables to seamlessly connect your apps and build smart and real-time workflows. Now, before we dive into the exciting part, let's make sure everyone is properly able to log in into the classroom environment. So if you registered today before 10 a.m. Singapore time, you've already been added to the classroom. Sign in at explore.quicklabs.com. You may need to set up the classroom account if you have not already done so. But if you have registered after 10 a.m. today, follow these steps. So step 1 would be access the short link on the screen, enter your email address, enter the dynamic OTP, sign in to your special classroom account on explore.quicklabs.com. Now, if you are creating an account for the first time, go to the link explore.quicklabs.com and click on the join. So the join button will be the blue button on the top right corner. Now, after you sign in, you will be taken to the home page of explore.quicklabs.com. At the middle of the screen or probably at the bottom, depending how screen is for you, you will see the classroom button. That will be a purple box. Click on the box titled Automate Work with Google Workspace Studio to open it up. Now for the classroom view, you will see multiple labs. In this case, you might see 3 labs. The second lab will be named as Automate Work with Google Workspace Studio to open it up. Now once you click on the lab name, you will see the green button which will say Start Lab. Right? Before you click on the button, please read the instructions carefully so that you can come back in case you need to do so. But the moment you click that button, remember your lab timer will start and you will have the limited time of 1 hour 30 minutes to complete this lab. Now when your lab finishes setting up, you will be able to see a button which will say Open Google Drive. That will be a blue link with a gray boundary around it. Right? So you need to right-click this button and choose Open in an incognito or a private browser, depending on what browser you're using. And once the browser loads, you would also see a Terms and Service Agreement. You need to go ahead and click on I understand. That will allow you access to Google Workspace. Now finally, before you officially end the lab, please make sure you have completed all of the steps, clicked on Check My Progress button. That's very important for you to get the green check mark before you end the lab. And now, before we jump into the lab, let me give you a quick look at what Workspace Studio is, right? Where it fits in, what it can do to automate your day. Now, we have all wasted countless hours doing routine busy work. That work would look like sorting emails, coordinating schedules, and tracking follow-ups. Now, legacy automation tools did attempt to help, but they were usually too stiff or required a lot of technical knowledge to work around. But most of the automation tools were also designed before AI changed the game, sticking to strictly rigid rules. And even some of the older platforms tried to add AI. They still force you to learn those complicated logic, write custom code. So for a busy non-technical team, that leaves the real magic of automation just out of reach. Now, looking at the limitations of the older tool, we needed a completely new approach to AI automation. And that approach is built on 3 core pillars: intelligent, simple, and integrated. So first is intelligent. So built on Gemini, this is just about following a rigid script. It actually reasons, plans, adapts, and dynamically to the complex work that you're handling. It could be multi-step, as well. Now, second, we made it simple. It is designed for use by anyone, regardless whether you are from a technical background or not. Instead of wrestling with complex code or logic, you simply put natural language in the prompt and tell Gemini what you need. And finally, it is deeply integrated. It is natively integrated into Workspace context right out of the box, which also seamlessly connect outside of the apps, right? And data that your team relies on every day. So the result is Google Workspace Studio, powered by Gemini, advanced reasoning, multimodal skill, and we've designed it to be intuitive, right? Truly simple and deeply integrated into Google Workspace so that everyone can now spin up custom workflows in just minutes to handle routine tasks, heavy lifting projects with zero coding or complex syntax. Now, Workspace Studios are flows designed to be more powerful and flexible. So all you need to do is to start explaining what you need. Say, for example, it could be 5 minutes after my meeting, translate the action items and post them into our team space. Now, space is on the chat or Google Chat that you use. And using Gemini's advanced capabilities, the studio will create that flow for you. From here, you can edit the flow further by adjusting the steps. You can also jump and start the first workflow by picking a dozen of ready-made templates. Now, these templates are very well curated, right, for the everyday needs that you have. So you can choose any one of this template to get started. Now, with these agents or the flow, whether they are 20 steps or 2 steps, all have in common is they are built by people who know the problem, right? So you don't need any coding or expression language to create them. You can start from a template. You can simply describe what you want, all in natural language, and Gemini will do that heavy lifting for you. And since collaboration is the heart of Workspace, you can share your agents with your team as well, simply the way you share a Google Doc. So agents can effectively reason through a problem, adapt instantly to new process, tackle the most complex problem, end-to-end business processes, right? What this does is it unlocks a new level of AI help for you. And because agents are deeply integrated with Workspace, apps like Gmail, Drive, Chat, they understand the full context of your work. This allows them to provide help that matches your company policies, processes, while generating personalized content. And you can even view your agents directly from the side panel of your Workspace. Right? Agents designed in Workspace are also extensible, so you can connect to third-party apps, your enterprise applications, and for the advanced user, you can also use app scripts to tailor those agents to your advanced business needs. All right, let's get back to the lab. Hope by this time you all have logged in to the classroom, you have the lab ready. So this is what are we going to do. So say goodbye to coding workflows and hello to effortless automation. So you will be just typing in the goal, and Workspace Studio and Gemini will piece everything that you need together, right? What we call as Google Workspace flows. Now let's go ahead to the browser and let's kick off the lab. So let me just bring up my browser on screen. All right. So here you see on the left-hand side, you will have the Start Lab button. And before you do that, you will have these two instructions. Run the lab in incognito window and use only the student account that you have been given to for this lab so that you can get credentials for completing the lab. So let me go ahead and click on Start Lab. Once this is successful, you will see the Open Google Drive button. You will have the student credentials as well. So I will go ahead and now click this and open it into an incognito window. So what I did is I right-clicked Open Google Drive, and let's open it in an incognito window. This is where you will see the terms and services. Go ahead, click on I understand. And this will bring up Google Drive for you. Okay. You need to keep this tab open. We will need it later in the lab for the other steps, right? So let's go through this. Now the next important thing that you need to do is open Workspace Studio. So the link is given in the instructions. You can copy paste the link into the in private or cognito window that you have, or you can go ahead and type that in. What I'll do is I'll go ahead, right click, copy the link address, go to the incognito window, open up a new tab and paste it here. And this will bring up the Workspace Studio. So that's the home page of Workspace Studio. You see the create bar, you see all of the templates here. Now let's go back and follow the lab steps. Okay, so the first task is to create a flow with AI. Now here's the first instruction. You need to describe a task for Gemini, right? And the task is every day at 8 AM, send me a summary of unread emails on my Google chat, right? You would see a rectangular box here. You can use this to copy the prompt, right? Switch over to Google Workspace Studio. In the middle of the box or right on the top of the page, you will see this box, describe a task for Gemini. Click on it and paste, right? I'll wait for here for a couple of seconds so that you can follow me. What I did is I went to the home page. You will see this box, describe task for Gemini. I pasted the prompt that I copied from the instruction set, and now I will go ahead and click on create. The moment I click on create, Gemini will understand what I mean to do is to look at my emails, right? Summarize them and send me a notification on the chat. And there you go. Gemini has created a flow. So this flow is part of Workspace Studio. It has 3 steps. The first one is the trigger or the starting point when this flow should run. The second are what actions should it perform once it is done, right? So let's go back to the instructions and see what it has, right? As I described, you have on a schedule, this flow is supposed to start at 8 AM because that's what we described as part of the prompt. Next, it will recap unread emails. So it will use the power of Gemini to summarize my emails, and then it will go ahead and notify me in the chat, right? The next step is edit the flow. So what we'll do is we'll look at how the schedule can be changed. In this particular instruction, the time has to be changed from 8 AM to 8:30 AM, right? So let's go ahead and look at the UI. So on the right side of the screen, once you click on a schedule, right, this panel to edit the trigger or the starter would appear, right? Right now, as we described, it is set for 8 AM. We will go ahead and change the timer. So once you click on it, a drop down would appear and you will see time slots for every 15 minutes. So select the one which says 8:30 AM, right? And then it will automatically save that for you. Right next to the step 1, for a brief moment, you will see that it has auto-saved that prompt for you. Let's go back to the instructions. The next step is we need to review the prompt to summarize unread emails, right? Now this is step 2, which we will be editing. Before I go back to the Workspace Studio, you can again use this rectangular box to copy the instructions. Let's copy the instructions, go back to Workspace Studio. So the starter is step 1. Under actions, click on step 2, which says recap unread emails. Once you click on step 2, it will show enter a prompt to generate a summary. This will be the second text box on the screen, right? And what you see here is the automated generated summary from Gemini. So click on it, go ahead and paste. Now what this prompt does is, the goal is to summarize unread emails. It says filter emails, identify action, identify times or any themes that it has, categorize emails, and special handling for digest. Any emails, marketing, promotions that you get, it tells you how to handle it, right? Now this has saved. Again, this is all auto saving, so you don't need to do it. You would have briefly seen again the saved icon appear next to step 2 on the screen. Let's go back to the steps. The next one is we need to use variables to pass on information, right? Now AI generates those variables, the summary of the email. Now we need to pass it on to a chat. So what are we going to do is we will copy this prompt. This is what we will put in step 3, right? Again, right at the middle of the screen, you will see this rectangular box to copy. Let's go here, click on step 3, and you can clear the existing one. This is AI auto generated. Let me select and clear this off and paste in the one that we copied from instruction. Now the first variable that we need to put here on the step placeholder is the start time. Click on variables, click on which says step 1 on a schedule. So what I did is I'll just do a quick recap. Click on variables, click on step 1 on a schedule, and click on start time here. The next one is the summary. Click on variables, click on step 2, that's where Gemini created the summary, and click on summary of unread emails. That's it. This step is now ready. Let's go back to instructions. And we are ready to test the flow. The second part is testing the flow. Now before you turn on your flow, you would want to test it, or if you turn it on and you're seeing any errors or issues, or it is not behaving the way you want it, you can always come back and test it. So let's go ahead and see how to test it. So we'll go back here. At the bottom, you will see an option which says turn on. Next to it will be this white gray button which says test the flow. So let's go ahead and do a test run. Now the test run would happen here, right? And on the right hand side, you will see a blue button which says start. Go ahead and click on it. What it will do is it will actually perform those actions, but right within the Workspace Studio, it will tell you how it is going to look at it, right? So right now, because we executed it right now, it shows the date and time. Then it will show the second step, which is Gemini recapping all of my unread emails. And it says caught up because there are no emails in the inbox. If there are emails, it will go ahead and do that. Next, it will go ahead and notify in the chat, right? So a message was sent. You can look at the message by clicking on this link. So all the links that you see here, all the actions that you see here will have a clickable link. So if I click on this, it will navigate to Google Chat, right? So I'm clicking on this. Let me zoom this up. And that's it. This is how you will see the messages. On the left hand side, apps, weekdays, and here you have the message from Google Workspace Studio. Here it will show the date and time, and it will, where it says you are all caught up, it will showcase all of the summary of your unread emails. Now let's go back to the instructions. Now step 3 is, once you have tested the flow, it is there, right? You want to update your flow. Now to update the flow, what you can do is you can click on My Flows, go to a schedule, change it to 7 AM and save changes, right? So let me take back. So change the tab back to Google Workspace Studio if you're not already there. And on the left hand side, you see the icon and the name Studio. Go ahead and click on it, right? To see all of the flows, on the left hand side, you have the icon called as Flows. Click on it. You will see all of your flows listed here. Then you have the activity button as well. You click on activity and this will give you a history of all the runs that your flow has executed. If it passed at each step, whether there were any issues or it completed successfully. In this case, everything went well. So you see everything green. Go back to the flow. Now to make any changes or edits, I go ahead, click on this, and again we'll use the time field to change it back to 7 a.m. So now instead of 8:30, it will run on 7 a.m. Right? Let's go back to the instructions for a moment. Right? And it says save changes. It is already done. Next, what we'll do is, this is step 4, where we will use the template. In the first task, we used Gemini prompt to create a flow for us. Here we will use one of the inbuilt templates to create a flow. So let's go back to this. And to do that, you can again go back to the home page. To go back to the home page, on the top left side, you will see the studio icon. Click on it. Now to take actions, you will have these filters that are available here: email boosters, better meetings, tasks and action, right? So I need to go ahead, click on task and action. Here you will find the template which says auto create task when files are added to a folder. So I'll go ahead and click on this. Now what the template does is, it gives you an out of the box steps to do this, but we need to go ahead and make some changes or configurations so that they work in our environment. So let's go back to the instructions and see what are those changes, right? What this flow is supposed to do is, when an item is added to a Google Drive folder, it will go ahead and create a task for me, right? Now the first step to do this is, we need to create a Drive folder, and the name of the Drive folder is listed here, which says Workspace Studios task. I will go ahead, copy this, go back to the window where I have Workspace Studio, and go back to the first tab that we had opened, which says Google Drive, right? So you go back to Google Drive and click on this new button on the top left, and the first link will be new folder. Go ahead, click on new folder, copy paste the name, which is Workspace Studio task. We need to have the same name, otherwise it will not be able to recognize it, right? So create this folder. Now we need to again change the tab. Here click on step 1 if you have not already done so. It will say when an item is added to a folder, click on this blue button which says Drive and click on Workspace Studio tasks, right? So this is the folder that we just created. At the bottom you will see a blue button which says Select, right? A quick recap. What we did is, we created a folder in Google Drive. We went to this first step which says select a drive. There was a Drive button, clicked on it. It will showcase the folder. In your case, it will also be the only folder. Select it. Next, let's go back to the instructions. Now we need to, we've added the Drive folder, right? And we need to add a file to it. Second step is create a task, right? So the task will auto be generated. Now what we need to do is, we need to add a file to the folder. Let's go back here, change the tab to Google Drive. Okay, you need to be inside the folder. Okay, inside the folder, I am on Drive, inside the Workspace Studio task folder. I click on new, I click on Google Docs, say a blank document, and here what I'm changing is, I'm just changing the file name. So it says untitled document. I will just say test file or test task. Let's say test task. This is done. Now let's go back to this. The second step would be create a task. It will automatically go ahead and create a task for me, right? So let's use the test run as well. Let's see in the instructions, is there anything that we missed? Not yet. All right. So Drive, we picked up the Drive folder, we set the all location, and click the step, turn it on. Okay. So what we did not do is we did not turn it on. Let's turn it on. Now what this will do is it will start monitoring the drive folder for me. So what I'll have to do is, because I created the file before I turned it on, so I'll have to go back and create the file again. So let's go back to the drive folder, right? Let's create another file. On the top left, click on New, and in the middle you will see Google Docs. Click on a blank document. There you have the blank document, and let's name this test demo task, and it is done. All right, now the flow should have executed because it was monitoring my folder, and it should go ahead and create a task for me. Now where are these tasks created? So these tasks are created in task.google.com. So in the instructions, again you have this link. You can copy this link, go back to the window where you have Workspace Studio, click on a new tab, and in the address bar, paste this link. Either you type it or you paste it, called as task.google.com. And there you have it. So let me zoom this for you. A task was added, and it will also showcase the file name that I did add. It is test demo task, right? Now let's go back to the instructions, and here I see I was able to follow all of the tasks here. So once I've completed, I'm sure that I've completed all my steps, I can go ahead, click check my progress. And if everything is okay, I will see the green tick box. So your assessment is completed, you will get credentials for this lab. All right, so let's go back to the slides and summarize what we did. So let me bring up the slides now. So just make sure that you click on check my progress only after you have clicked through all of these steps. So there are 4 steps in the lab, right? So task 1, 2, 3, and 4 are listed here, and you can navigate as well. All right, so let's summarize this. Let's go ahead. In this lab, we learned how to create a Google Workspace Studio flows by using a prompt. Next, we explored what are the options to change the schedule, right? Change the prompt to summarize your email to suit your preferences. We also learned how you could test your flow before you turn them on, or if you would want to troubleshoot after you turn them on. Now we also learned how to update an existing workflow. And lastly, we learned how to use a template to create a Workspace Studio flow and make changes to the configuration so that it works for your environment. So that's all for today. Don't worry if you found this a bit challenging to keep up. The recording of this session will be available to you within 24 hours, and you will be able to watch it again. You can also restart the lab to complete the task at your own pace. The labs will be available for the next 2 weeks, and you have 5 attempts to do so, right? Thank you everyone for joining me today. Stay tuned with us for our final lab coming up next.